reviewing Mountains Out of Molehills.
Okay, is it on yet?
Hi, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game & Co.
Hi, I'm Yoda, and today we're reviewing Mountains Out of Molehills.
Mountains Out of Molehills from the OP, and excuse me as I look over this or look under this to try to get a direct line of sight to you. The Mountains Out of Molehills from the OP, from the OP, is a game of programming. It's a game in which you have your moles, and across 6 rounds of play, you're going to be gathering a bunch of movement cards, and then you're going to be putting those movement cards in order to effectively program out your movement. Once you do that, players one at a time will turn over their cards, enacting the way their moles move around underneath the ground. They're going to be moving, they're going to be turning, they're going to be moving forward 3, they're going to be adding rocks to locations, they're going to be doing U-turns and then moving back, and every time they move, that mole adds another little pop-up underneath the board. The part where the game gets interesting is us. Let's go ahead and take your person, Yoda. Okay. Let's say your person were to move 1 forward. When you move 1 forward under the ground over here, you also pop up your mountain, or your molehill, underneath all other pieces over there. And the goal of the game is at the end of each round, you're going to add up who has control out of each molehill, who has control out of the full pile, and control is going to be determined by the person who has the lowest piece on that pile, and they get all points equal to the height of the pile. With me so far? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so basically you're going to be doing that across 6 rounds of play. There's a few other elements going on. There's the rock, which is something you can be adding to the board, moving it around. You're going to have the idea that every round has a stack limit, how high your molehills can go before they topple. And when they topple, they cascade in the direction of your choosing, slowly adding the bottom pips of each one to subsequent areas, potentially toppling over the edge or potentially toppling other towers to have further cascading topples. You're going to rinse and repeat that movement across 6 rounds as you try to plan around how to gather your cards, place them in order, plan around the movement, and then slowly but surely try to acquire as many points as possible. So for example, let's just go through a brief round of play. Yoda, you want to grab a card? Ooh, a +3. Okay. And let's pretend I'm being the the gray over here. So I'm going to grab a U-turn. Your turn.
I'm going to grab this one.
Okay, I will grab a +3. Your turn.
I will grab. Let's see if I can. If this will work.
Dun 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 dun.
Let's see. First, I'm going to. Wait, I'm going.
Yep. You can choose. You can once you get them, you can do it in any order. Okay.
Okay.
And I think I will similarly take one of these over here. Okay, and you take your last card.
And then a U-turn.
And I'll take a +2. Perfect. Okay, once you have your 4 cards, and the variable number of cards will show up in this grid depending on the number of players, but once you have your cards, and it's 4 cards per player per round, you're going to go ahead and proceed to create an order. You're going to secretly create an order that your cards are going to execute in. So for example, I have this over here, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to, you know what, maybe I should be doing that first. I'm going to do this over here, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that and that. Okay, I have my order planned.
I do not. So
I've locked in my order.
Go.
We're good to go. So Yoda can go ahead and do his order. Now again, you're going to be doing this across 6 rounds of play. They have a handy-dandy little score pad over here that will show you all the ways you score, the various player counts, the stack limits, the tracking the points at the end of each round.
Okay.
You good? You good?
Almost.
Dun 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 dun.
Then...
And we have it set up there for a 4-player game, although we're technically playing it as a little 2-player sampler round. Dun 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 dun.
Then here.
Okay. Dun 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 dun.
And that.
Okay, do you want to go first or should I go first?
You go first.
Okay, I will go ahead and turn my first card over, and I'm turning left or right. I'm going to grab my little gray guy. I'm going to turn left. This does not have a movement, so I had a choice as how to direct my mole, but I do not move.
I will go up a turn around +1.
Okay, so when you have it, whenever you have a number, you can either move first and then turn around, or you can turn around and then move. Yoda chose to turn around and then move, and whenever you move, you pop up a little piece. I'm going to flip my card over, and that's going to be a +3, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, putting 3 molehills on the ground on those spaces. Yoda, your turn.
Wait, okay.
Ah! Where am I? I'm over here. I went 1, 2, 3. I should be over here.
Then I will do a +3.
Oh, you're going the same direction as me.
1, 2, 3.
We're neighbors.
Hello,
1,
neighbor.
2, 3. Okay. I'll go ahead and flip over my card, and we have a turnaround with a 1. So I think I'm going to go ahead and Do I want to directly move around? I think I'm going to go ahead and move one and then turn around. Okay, your turn, Yoda.
Then I will use that.
Ooh, so the problem is, right now Yoda's stuck, because when he turns, this is the problem with the programming. You program out your moves, but I blocked him, and whichever direction he turns, he can't move. So he can still turn, but he can't move.
It's the other way. It's the other way.
You want to turn that way?
It's the other way.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right. Is it? No, it's not. It's facing based on this way. So you do it based on the way the mole's facing, so you turn that way.
Oh.
Okay, and then I'll go ahead and turn this over, and I'm moving forward 2, 1, 2, and then it's your last move.
Okay, and then I'm just going to do a turnaround.
Okay. Perfect. And then from there, depending on the round we are in, this would institute a topple. Let's pretend we're in a round where 4 would be a topple. From there, we'll go ahead and topple it in any direction of our choosing, so we'll cascade this downwards. I don't see a strong way to cascade this to my advantage, so I think I will go ahead and just cascade it this way. So I'm going to cascade 1 onto the next one down here, taking the bottommost piece of each tower, which can also create its own little topple effect, and then the last piece falls off the edge. From there, we go ahead and we proceed to count up the points at the end of the round. You do this for all the players. In this case, we'll just do myself and Yoda. Over here, Yoda has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points to the end of the round. This is all with our little preset up. And now we can move this a little bit out of the way and start talking about the game. So, Yoda. That's how you play Mountains Molehills. You do that for 6 rounds. What do you think about the game?
It's great. There's a guy that has middle armor with a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And then there's a little person that looks like a turtle with a giant toy shovel. And an old mole with a lantern. And finally, the red hooded mole with the creepy monster mouth with the 2 shovels and a pickaxe.
And what's your favorite part about playing?
Probably using the red hooded monster face thingy mole and toppling the towers and getting points.
Toppling the towers, yeah. So Mountains Molehill has a lot of things. Mountains Out of Molehills has a bunch of things going for it. It's got that light programming idea that you'll see in games like Robo Rally. I think a famous one, Robot Turtles, I believe, is a game that had a programming mechanism that was a little catered towards younger audiences. And I find Mountains Out of Molehills caters towards a bit of a middle zone. It's a family-friendly or family-friendly or gateway-friendly programming game that gives you that sense of you have to gather cards, thinking through how you want to take your actions, and then 3 things get in your way. The cards you can gather, the other moles as they wander around and literally get in your way, or alternatively, literally just yourself as you put things out of order and have to deal with the consequences of misthinking that you're going to turn left or right. There's no timer mechanism at play, so there's no stress in that sense. There's just a sense of planning out your move and hoping you did everything well, and then it combines that with a degree of area control, where you're planning out, okay, great, I want to take control out of all these mountains, these molehills that are popping out of the ground, creating these mountains, and I want to take control of them as much as possible. The game is fairly simple to teach, fairly simple to get into. It has that programming mechanism, which is a fun thing you see in a bunch of games, and it does so well over here. Is there anything you don't like about the game?
Not winning.
Not winning. For me, there's going to be 2 things I don't... Well, one thing I don't like, and then one thing just a question of who the target audience is. The thing I don't like...
There's a few things I don't like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. 1, not winning. 2, getting stuck. 3, others winning. 4, getting annoyed with rocks.
Getting annoyed with rocks. Well, I was about to get into the rock part, but as far as getting stuck is a relative factor. I mean, games that have programming, inherently part of the fun of programming is the part of fun where things go wrong too, although that's relevant depending on who you are, because some people enjoy the aspect of, oh no, you got in my way, and other people are like, well, that's a turn down, and I just wasted a turn, and now someone else is getting ahead of me, and I feel like I got wasted a bit. Robo Rally actually is a little bit more mechanically crazy in what it's doing, versus this you can directly lose chunks of points by getting stuck. As far as what I don't like is I don't love the rock mechanic in the game. Something you didn't see us really do is you can draft rock cards, which lets you put the rock somebody else, roll the dice, and that determines what's going to happen when somebody hits the rock. It gets in the way. The problem is I find the rock to be not interesting. I just find it to be there's too many rock cards, so the rock ends up being moved a lot. In our games when we've played, we have the rock, and it seems to be something people end up having to take because it's a card that's left on the board, but it rarely has been impactful. It's just been kind of, okay, I can grab a rock, but more often than not, it's easier to just move yourself. Sometimes the rock is advantageous in terms of getting someone out of your way or blocking the leader, but we found the rock to be one of the less interesting parts of playing the game. Past that, I like the relevant aspects of what's going on. As far as the other element in terms of who it's for or who it's not for, it's a lighter game. This is going to be one of those games that has that programming mechanism, that has area control. It does so fairly well, but it does so fairly well with the caveat that it's fairly light. It's fairly easy to dive into. It's not overly rewarding. It's a little bit random, and the gameplay is a little static and doesn't really change up much. The cards, I wish there were more cards in here that either had text-based effects that were more interesting. I think you could possibly do that without making the game that much more complicated. Maybe not, though. It works very well for the target audience, but for me, it's a lighter game than I would otherwise take out, but it's a game that my kids like it, and it has this huge visual appeal. This is one of the nice things about it. It has this up and below, it has this below ground and above ground situation, combined with towers that slowly pop up. Although I will note, while we're on the subject, constantly putting little tokens underneath each tower can get a little bit fiddly, and you can have things knocking over, so there's a slight cost to the presentation, but overall I like the presentation and I find it engaging. But that's overall where I am with Mountains and Molehills. General, any final opinions on it?
Play it well.
Play it well. Yeah, for me, Mountains and Molehills is a 3 out of 5. I like the game. I think it's a solid gateway, a solid family-friendly, accessible game that incorporates a bunch of mechanisms and incorporates it well and is charming. At the same time, it's a lighter game and one that does not overly compel me, but I think it's a solid job, well done all around from the OP. As far as other game recommendations, Robo Rally is going to be the first one I'll give you. Robo Rally is going to have that programming aspect that will really lean heavily into just a little bit of craziness and zaniness. And then additionally, Robot Turtles. Robot Turtles is another family-friendly, I don't know if it's still in print, but it's one that's a family-friendly programming game that gives you that same element of trying to think through how things will play out and go from there. And that's basically it. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. You are?
Yoda Radcliffe.
And have a good one.